Dragon Age Inquisition, a medieval RPG dating sim from BioWare. Overall, a good game. Great story, good character interaction, and a reasonable amount of control over plot points. However, not without its problems. Personally, the whole thing seemed padded for extra time. I'll get into that later. The combat gets pretty boring. Before you complete many quests in a zone, there's far too many random encounters. Enemies will run 10 feet in any direction and pull in another group of enemies that you then need to fight. It just turns into a slog. It's not a hard game, but turn it down to easy mode to get through it quicker. You can use tactics, but they just slow you down even more. You can spend a lot of time custom tailoring your party's skills, but that doesn't really matter either. Just let the computer auto-assign them. The War Table is a new addition to this Dragon Age. On the War Table, you can send out your agents on missions. Depending on which agent you send yields different results. You really don't have any more control over these missions than that. The story missions, that can take over 16 hours, require power points. You get power points by completing quests in the quest zones. Basically, the main reason to go questing is to get power points to spend on the War Table to advance the story. Some quests also open up little side missions. Very little of this questing is even needed. I actually completely forgot a quest zone before heading to the end of the game. Even so, I built up a huge stockpile of extra points that I hadn't used and had no other purpose. While questing in these zones, you'll find herbs and metal ore deposits, etc. Ignore them. The interface for crafting weapons and armor is terrible. You can use them to upgrade your potions and keep, but they really have no use other than that. In each quest zone, you can also get some requisition missions where you'll need to collect X number of random junk Y. Ignore those too. Lastly, traversing the terrain is a pain. A lot of these zones are built with overlapping pathways. Often there's only one poorly marked way to get to a certain spot. Your character has to climb over every little pebble in their path like they're climbing a mountain. The map is barely helpful. There are special doors that require certain classes to open, so you need to bring a mixed party. And all of these things combined means you spend a lot of time trying to find obfuscated passages to where you want to go. Why does it seem like this game was made to take so long? My theory, to keep hardcore players from finishing the game in less than a day. A game like this is partially rated on how many hours you can sink into it. Too short, and the fans will complain. At the very least, you should be able to speed up missions by spending your extra power points. The 12-hour plus missions, flower picking, clunky combat, and insurmountable ankle-high rocks means that most players will be duped into thinking that this is a long game. It took me about 80 hours, with doing a reasonable amount of questing. It feels like it should have taken closer to 50 or 60 without all the little annoyances. I'll see how long my next playthrough goes. And that's the thing, it's still a good game. I'm going to play it again, probably. I've got to do a kill everyone playthrough after all. Most of the enjoyment comes from playing it like a choose-your-own-adventure novel, though. All of the combat and questing are just hurdles to get across to get to the next story bit. It seems like you don't have much control over important plot points. They're obviously gearing up for many sequels, and don't want to plan around too many player shenanigans like killing characters, but I'm still looking forward to mixing things up in my next playthrough and in any upcoming sequels. That's it for now. Later.